should we get to the latest with TikTok?
The latest from TikTok. Now, I love this story for a variety of reasons. Let's go ahead and put this up there on the screen. China discusses sale of TikTok US to Elon Musk as one possible option. This is from Bloomberg News and has now been actually confirmed by the Wall Street Journal. And what is amazing about this story, Crystal, is I think that there is something for everybody. One, of course, Elon is involved. Two, why is Elon involved? Because he has a very, very close relationship to the Chinese government because of his Tesla, Giga Shanghai. Tesla is heavily reliant on China for batteries, for minerals. Elon himself has said a lot of very questionable things about the CCP in the past, so they're assuming that they can play ball. But here is my personal favorite line in these stories, Crystal. The Chinese government has not communicated with ByteDance about the contingency plans it has considered. As in, ByteDance, you have no say who you're getting sold to if you do get sold. You will be sold to whoever China decides that you will be sold to. Kind of validates the reason why I think it should be banned, doesn't it? Is that they have literally zero control over their own corporate affairs. And in fact, ByteDance replied and commented on the story and was like, we have no comment on this supposed fiction. And it's like, guys, it has nothing to do with you. That's what you don't seem to get. The reason why the Chinese are considering selling to Elon is two birds with one stone. They've already got Elon. They have him, in terms of their ability to put pressure and control on him.
Isn't most of his wealth tied up in the Chinese economy?
Not the most.
No.
But I mean, the thing is, the vast majority of his wealth is in Tesla. Tesla's a huge player in China, even though they have to compete with
huge factory there.
Giga Shanghai. It's one of their biggest producers. And in fact, while those Teslas are banned from the United States, they are already being sold as far as Canada, right here in North America, all across the European Union, which don't have as strict export controls. Giga Shanghai is tremendously important to the company. That's just manufacture. Batteries, the stuff that goes into the Tesla, almost 100% reliant of all of the technology. So the actual battery, the lithium, the minerals, all of the refining. I forget the name of the company. It starts with a C. The major battery manufacturer that is Chinese is a big supplier to. The point is that he's very, very reliant on the Chinese government, and he has met with them many times. He even has, I think, a Weibo account or whatever it's called on Chinese social media, being like, "Happy birthday to the CCP," which he's posted in the past. I've done a monologue. You can go watch it. So they have a good relationship with Elon. Two, Elon is a close ally of Trump. Trump wants to save TikTok. So who do you sell it to? You sell it to Elon.
Yeah.
Kind of a vassal of the king. Somebody, if you think back to
it's
aristocracy.
Kind of a clever solution, to be honest.
No, it's a genius solution.
Yeah.
Listen, you can say a lot about these people. They're smart. They know, they understand our country much better than we understand our country. I've played that famous speech before, the Chinese professor being like, you think we don't know how to control Hunter Biden? Talking about that.
Yeah,
but,
that's right.
When you play the long game and you don't have to get elected, it's easy. What you can see from this is that they have decided a specific way to get out of this is to curry favor with Trump, curry favor with their oligarch, the richest man in the United States, who they already have significant control over, and use those two to do what? We concede on TikTok, which at the end of the day, TikTok is worthless to China. And in exchange, we get what? A nice little deal on tariffs. Maybe we say that this is a big gesture to Donald Trump, to Elon. We curry all this political favor, and maybe we get Elon to stop posting certain types of things about Uyghurs or whatever. Oh, who knows? Maybe we do a little bit of China, Taiwan trading and all of that. And I honestly think that you have to give them credit. It's smart, for what they do. They saw this. They're just going to tell ByteDance what to do. ByteDance has zero say over its own affairs. But by facilitating said sale, they already know Elon has Twitter. They also know that if anybody has the amount of wealth and the ability to tap hundreds of billions of dollars in credit lines if needed, as long as a network of wealthy friends to buy TikTok, they may even sell it to him at a loss. They don't care about the money because let's say they sold it to him for $100 billion and he saves, and then Trump gives them a favorable tariff rate. They save, what, $600 billion a year? That's nothing to,
Yeah.
TikTok is just a pawn in all of this. So honestly is a genius solution. We really do have to hand it to him.
I mean, and we'll see if it happens.
Right.
Obviously, like you said, TikTok says it's pure fiction, blah, blah, blah.
Right, but they have they don't know because they don't even control their own company. This guy, the Singaporean or whatever, he works for the guy in the ByteDance. Like he doesn't even, he's a subsidiary of his own company. And then that company is a subsidiary and foreign policy arm of the Chinese government. So the labyrinthian way that this all works is just always so hard to explain to a Western audience because it's so foreign. In Asia, this is very common. Like Samsung is an extension of the Korean government. Toyota is an extension of the Japanese government. Yeah, they're freer societies, but it's still like this. Here, I mean, look, you could say what you want about Apple, Facebook, or whatever. The level of the gap between the two is just way bigger, even if it's closer than we may have thought.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But I'm just saying, like, it's not a done deal, so we'll see if it comes to fruition. But I mean, the other piece of this is like, it just makes Elon even more powerful. Already, he is the richest man on the planet, which means that you inherently have tremendous power. He has obviously the most influence in the Trump administration of any other actor, and including has kind of like come up against, has already gone to war with the MAGA base and won, has already, you know, gotten his priorities realized through spiking that spending deal that had restraints on high-tech investment in China that was important to him. He got that stripped down. So he has won every battle in terms of the Trump administration thus far. We'll see where it goes from here. So he has that going for him. He owns Twitter, which continues to be extremely influential, both obviously now it's like the beating heart of the like MAGA Republican movement, but it also continues, I think, to be incredibly influential in terms of elite opinion and understanding of political trends. I think it's probably an undersold factor, to be honest with you, in some of the sort of like, you know, more MAGA receptivity shift among a lot of elites. I mean, number one, they're looking out for, okay, we don't want to be thrown in prison, we don't want our contracts canceled, et cetera, et cetera. But also, if you're taking in the conversation on Twitter, you're assessing, if you're extrapolating that to how the country feels at large, well, Twitter's a very right-wing space now, so that's going to impact how you view the opinions of the country at large. So he owns Twitter, and now if you own TikTok as well, like the app among young people, and you're able to influence, like, Twitterify what's going on there as well and boost your own brand, your own self-interest, et cetera. Like, that is a colossal amount of power to be vested in one unelected individual. And, you know, so his, like, the previous hawkish orientation towards China, I would be skeptical that that continues under the Trump administration this time around because it does not serve Elon's interest. Obviously, it was very important to him to win in this H-1B fight. It appears that he has won in that H-1B fight. It's certainly any sort of like, you know, contracts that he wants for his companies, whatever. He's already a massive government contractor. These regulatory fights that he's engaged in with various federal government agencies, I'm sure those are all going to go away. Concerns from the SEC about market manipulation, from the Labor Department about discrimination, all of those from the NLRB about union bus, all of those things are going to be gone. Like, he really is going to have both tremendous political, financial, and cultural power. He already does. But TikTok would just further expand 100% the amount of power that this one individual would have. There is one person in the MAGA movement who is not taking this lying down.
Yes,
that's
right.
Steve Bannon put this up on the screen from USA Today. They had all the juicy quotes from Steve Bannon, who did an interview. This was in like an Italian newspaper, I think, which is why we don't have like a video of him saying it. This was all in the context of that interview. He calls Elon Musk an evil guy and vows to stop his influence over Trump. Good luck with that. In any case, let me read you some of these juicy quotes. He says, because he put money in, I was prepared to tolerate it, referring to the $250 million Musk contributed in the 2024 campaign to help Trump's election. I'm not prepared to tolerate it anymore, which let me just pause there and say, I don't know what you thought you were getting, buddy, but no one puts in $250 million and thinks they're getting nothing out of it. And Elon's ideology was very easily ascertainable before this moment. So I don't know what you thought you were getting in this deal, but anyway, this was entirely predictable. He goes on to say Not only is he a truly evil guy, I will take this guy down. He says, I will have Elon Musk run out of here by Inauguration Day. I doubt it. Before, and then he goes on to say the thing about the money. Then he says he should go back to South Africa. Why do we have South Africans, the most racist people on earth, white South Africans, making any comments at all on what goes on in the United States? We've seen peak Elon, his intrusive nature, his lack of understanding of the true issues, and quite frankly, his support of just himself. The sole objective is to become a trillionaire. That's his objective, is aggregation of wealth, and then through wealth, power. That's what he's focused on. The American working people in this country are not going to tolerate it. Yeah. I don't know. They seem like they're tolerating it,
he certainly, yeah, I was like, by the way, Elon is enormously popular with the Republican Party. Sorry. He also expanded on some of this in video. Let's take a listen.
He's got a glass jaw. He can't take, because of the, I don't know, the autism or where he's on the spectrum. He's clearly not, he's got the maturity of an 11-year-old. You can tell that. But he, it's obvious. He can't take criticism. One of his weaknesses is that he needs to be loved. He needs the masses to love him. You can tell he's on the stage. He needs that glory. This is to have a digital ghetto and to only have raised up what praises him. That is like the little boy's mentality. If I want to be the superhero, I want to put the cape on and kind of skip around. You see this a lot in Danbury. These what they call chomos, what they call these sex offenders. They've got this. They've had a maturity level that has stopped, and they want to. They want to be. They all watch the movies that have the Cape Crusaders on there.
Wow, very powerful to hear Steve Bannon expand on his experience in federal prison.
That's what the Danbury is in reference to.
Danbury's in Connecticut. I think it's a low security facility where they also house sex offenders. So for context, that's where that comes from. Also,
goes there, doesn't he?
Yeah, Vivek Ramaswamy has not been heard from in quite a long time. Let's put this up there on the screen. This was his last tweet, January 3rd, 2025. It is currently January 14th, the day that we are filming this. He's been completely disappeared from Doge tweets, from mention in the press. This is a guy who probably, I mean, what should we say? He's been tweeting nonstop for, I want to say 4 years. I would say 4 years.
You would know better than me. Yeah, that's probably right.
It's crazy. I've known Vivek for a long time.
He's
way before he
was into every cultural conversation.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's a pro at like getting attention, getting himself first on Fox News and selling his book and
he's a Fox News
his
guy,
brand. And
wrote his book in 2021. Yeah, I still have the DMs. I've been like, can I come on your show to talk about my book? The anti-woke book. Yeah, exactly. Vivek, come on. It's been a while. I haven't heard from you. And he's a poster. Look, you got to give it to him. He's smart. And he posted his way to name recognition and a significant, presence in the Republican Party.
Yeah,
you have to respect that to a certain extent. But a huge part of that was Twitter and elite conversation, his wealth, the stunts, cultivating his relationships, etc. And he has been unheard of. Nobody has heard from him. I genuinely think it might be one of the longest stretches in the last 4 years that he has not tried to insert himself in the conversation, especially for somebody who loves and craves attention so much. So it's pretty extraordinary that nobody has. And look, there could be problems between him and Elon, right? But from the previous posts that he's made, there could be problems that are happening in terms of him causing the shutdown. Previously, people got really, really upset with him and Elon over that. Elon is too powerful, so maybe they take out Vivek. Maybe Trump just called him and was like, hey, you're done. You're not posting anymore. But nobody knows what it is, so we'll see.
Matt Letch tweeted, imagine being a month from power and you blow your career up with a rant about the phrenology of Saved by the Bell.
Okay, so I don't watch Saved by the Bell. I've never seen the show.
Really?
But apparently the character who he said he didn't like actually got a higher SAT score.
Zach.
I didn't know that.
Zach is like, you've got to know, like Zach is like
so
blonde,
I've watched
guy.
Boy Meets World. I'm familiar.
Screech is like the, sort of nerdy, dorky, like kind of goofy character. And so he was saying like, we should be lionizing Screech. But yeah, if you know your Saved by the Bell lore, you know that Zach actually got like a 1,500 on his SAT.
I did not know
went
that.
to an Ivy school or whatever. Yeah. Anyway, whatever. It was stupid. He called white people lazy and now they disappeared from the party effectively.
Hilarious.
My read is that he's effectively taking the fall for Elon.
Yes.
That Trump was probably irritated by this whole fracas in his coalition. He didn't like it. And so he's really, I mean, this is all, I'm just speculating, but I suspect he looked at this post from Vivek and was like, what the hell are you thinking about with this? Because it really did, you know, putting all of the like policy debate aside, like Trump's whole thing is he realigned the Republican Party towards a non-college educated base centered around the white working class. And now that screed from Vivek is like a direct indictment of white working class culture. I mean, if Hillary Clinton tweeted something like, forget about it, like there would be meltdowns and everyone would be so enraged, blah, blah, blah. And so Vivek does that, and now, yeah, he hasn't really been heard from. So it is kind of funny. Just to go back quickly to the Bannon-Musk war, like, as I said before, that war for Bannon is already lost. It was lost when that deal was made for all the money to go into the Trump campaign. Like, Elon was going to get what he wants out of this administration. And I think Bannon is an ideological person, right? He has a very structured, thought out worldview that he is relatively consistent in applying. The only way he's really not consistent in applying it is when Trump fails him. There's never any smoke for Trump. It's only for, you know, the people around Trump who always mislead him. It's never Trump's fault, blah, 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 blah. But he has a well thought out ideological worldview. And I think he assumed that the MAGA base really, you know, and I'm not talking about like the online influence, I'm talking about the random rank and file people throughout the country who voted for Donald Trump, right? That they were similarly ideologically driven. And I just don't think that's true. I mean, not to say that there aren't some like desires or policy impetuses, but at the end of the day, what we've seen with Trump is it doesn't matter where he is on an issue. What matters is people will support him wherever he is on the issue. I mean, the thing he said, he understood it far better than Steve Bannon did when he said, I could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and they would still support me. The only area where I've ever seen the base push back on Donald Trump is around vaccines.
Yeah, that's true.
That's really the only area. And the one person that got really spiked outside of Matt Gaetz, which was like, that's kind of a separate story, but the one person who got spiked by the MAGA base in terms of this confirmation process was some sheriff who had done like COVID lockdowns.
Oh, the DEA guy. Yeah,
for DEA. Yes. That was the one that there was a real like grassroots, we aren't going to have this guy shut down churches during COVID. Like, that's the one area where I've seen Trump be pushed on the base. On everything else, like, his main accomplishment in his first term was a tax cut for the rich. It wasn't looking out for the working class. There's been so many, on TikTok, he totally changes his colors. It doesn't matter. On crypto, he totally changes his colors. It doesn't matter. There's no backlash to any of that. It wasn't, even on H-1B, right? This is as core to the Trumpist view of the world as it could possibly be about foreign workers coming in, taking American jobs, blah, blah, blah. He sides with Elon. Has there been a mass backlash again? No, not at all. Few online influencers, and they, by and large, by the time he weighed in, shut their mouths and got with the program too. So if you're expecting some sort of grassroots MAGA revolt against Elon and, in favor of some ideological version of Trump, like, don't hold your breath. It's not coming. It's never happened in the past. It's not going to happen now, outside of this one narrow thing of the way they feel about tax.
Yeah, I don't disagree with any of that. I do think that Bannon, to the extent that he could be successful, is only in whispering in Trump's ear. Trump does seem to trust him. He likes him. They talk on the phone, etc. But, Bannon's just going to be doing his show. He's not going to be in the White House or even in the way that he was in the first term. He can try his best, but he's only one of a variety of side characters. So there we go. All right, we've got Matt Stoller standing by to talk about Mark Zuckerberg. Let's get to it.
Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.